Hey there, this is Dave from the Authors Reserve, and today we're going to be doing multiple videos all in one. So it might be a little bit long, but I will put time codes down at the bottom of the description. So if you want to jump to a particular section, you can do that. We're going to be doing the unboxing and evaluation of 3 fountain pens, which we were going to give away with this video. And then we'll also be looking at 5 different inks, all based around the Valentine's Day theme. We're going to be making that part of our February Currently Inked. All right, so first of all, let's do a recap of last month. As I mentioned, I like to pick out inks that I want to use with my journaling, and I had set out with 2 Sailor Shikori inks, both Shimoyo and Yodaki, and let's see how well I did with that. This is the 5040 Titan that I used for my main pen this month. You can see that it is almost completely full. I have emptied this and refilled it. And I'll continue writing along with Sailor Shikori in this pen for this month. If you're interested in a review on the Titan, let me know in the comment section and I will queue that up as one of the videos I want to do. I was also thinking about doing one with this pen here, which just arrived earlier this week. I was out of state, and so this sat on my porch for a couple of days until I texted my neighbor to come grab it for me. But this is a pen that I've been wanting to get for a long time. This is a Grail pen, and I have had a chance to use this a little bit, but not a whole lot. I've been holding off on doing a review on that for a little while, maybe another week or so, but I think I have enough information to compare these two or contrast these two. There's a lot they have in common, but also they perform quite differently. So if you're interested in seeing either a combination video where I talk about both of them, or if you want to see individual videos where I do in-depth reviews on each of them, let me know. So getting back to January, the Sailor Shikori Yodaki was the ink I used in the Conklin word gauge, and it looks like I used, let's see here, a little more than 2,000 words with this. It's performing really, really well. When you write with it, it comes out very dark, but if you do any shading with it, which I didn't this month, it's much lighter and brighter. And these two complement each other really well. So I also had Jacques Herbin, Amber Insouciance in my Narwhal Plongeur. This is actually not the same pen. This is a different one. The one I demonstrated before was a 1.1 broad, and this is a fine. This is turning out to be quite nice. There is one available as the giveaway. I'm just waiting for the winner to claim their prize. I also had Diamine Ancient Copper here in the Stipula 22, and I will be doing a deep dive of this pen this month, most likely this month. I have another one to give away that is almost exactly the same. It just comes in a different colorway, one called, I think, Night Blue or Dark Night or something like that. It's a blue colorway rather than this kind of tortoiseshell, crunchy brown and black. I really like this, and I really like Stipula pens in general. I have used a little more than a third of this Ancient Copper. Ancient Copper is one of my favorite inks of all time. The Diamine Oxford Blue was in my Visconti Homo Sapiens, and I'll be frank, this pen got very little use because I did leave the state and I was away from my desk most of my time. So I haven't really had a chance to use the Diamine Oxford Blue, and hopefully I can change that this month. And then lastly, I had Platinum Carbon ink, black, in this Pilot, and this didn't get used either. This is what I would consider to be an everyday carry pen, but I didn't carry this one with me because I was carrying a newer model. This is the Pilot Capless LS. I have a video coming up on this where we're going to go through like the history and all the different models of these. And so this pen did get used, unfortunately. It's not this color here, so can't really call it part of that whole currently inked. I did use this pen extensively for all like my daily journaling and to-do lists and commonplacing. One thing I'll note about this though, even though this is inked and hasn't been used since I did this here, it wound up drying out. But of course, it's been 4 weeks. The pilots are much better than some of the lesser expensive versions of these, keeping the nibs moist, but this particular one just kind of failed in that. I don't know if it's the pen itself. I'll look at that, or if it was the fact that this ink is very quick drying. Okay, so let's talk about this month. What are we going to be doing? Well, as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing 3 new pens. These are all unboxings, and we are going to be inking them up with 1 of 5 colors each. And I will find 2 other pens that I will add from my collection that we will use for the other 2 inks. I would like to introduce to the world, and I might not be the first person to think of this, but Pink Ink Month for February, where the idea is that you ink up a pen with a pink colored ink, and then you write some Valentine cards or maybe a love letter to someone, and that becomes the ink for that pen for this month. Okay, to start with, we're going to be sampling Jacques Herbin Bouquet de Temps. This is a pink ink, but it is sort of a muted ink. Bouquet de Temps means yesterday's flowers or yesterday's bouquet. And so it's kind of got more of a subtle feel to it. And we'll take a look at this. This is a dye ink. For those who are new to fountain pens and inks and so forth, there are 2 types of inks. One, well, there's more than 2, but the 2 main ones are dye inks and pigment inks. Dye inks actually change the color of the paper by staining the color of the paper, whereas pigment inks sit on top of the paper and reflect the color back to the eye. So you're not seeing the paper as much as you are seeing the pigments inside of the ink. That's the basic difference here. All of these pink inks, in fact, most light colored inks are going to be dye inks, but all of them today will be dye inks. So there's Jacques Herbin, Bouquet de Temps. I have 2 pilot inks. One is Momiji, and this is one of the Iroshizuku line of inks that they have. I've had this one for a while. This one's a little more on the violet side, as you'll see, but we're going to be comparing that with one that's more of the pink end, and that is Hana Ikada. And this one means cherry blossom. Momiji, by the way, means autumn leaves, and you'll see why when we get there. This one is new. Hana Ikada is new to me, and I purchased this one just for this particular pink ink event. Next, we have a shimmer ink, and this is the only shimmer ink. And I really wanted to include a shimmer ink because I think that's really great for writing cards and so forth. And this is Diamine Pink Glitz. And I have looked at this already, but I want you to see like how much shimmer there is in this. This is just crazy. Look at it swirling in there. It's pretty amazing. And I haven't really I haven't shaken this yet, but you can see it's already starting to move around in there. Now, if I shake it, you'll definitely see it swirling around. All of the inks that I've shown so far are available from Goldspot. And there's an affiliate link down below if you want to help out the channel. And then lastly, we have Tono Lims. And I've never purchased a Tono Lims ink before. Now, this one isn't pink. It's you're going to see the color here. It's more of an amberish color, but I thought it would be interesting to add this to our inks this month. And this will be one of the ones I use in a pen that isn't one of the ones that we're going to give away. It's called True Love, and it is a scented ink. It has kind of a floral, perfumey smell to it. So we'll take a look at this one here as well. All right, so those are the inks that we're going to be looking at this month. And now I think it's important that we look at the pens, and we'll try to match the inks with the pens. How's that? All right, so first of all, I'm going to keep those off the screen a little bit. You might have already seen what one of those are. This one here we've been talking about a lot in some of the other videos. A lot of people have commented that they either have one or want to get one, and it's very affordable. So these can be had down into the sub $20 range. And this is a Hongdian M2. And it's a pocket pen. You'll notice that it has a lot of similarities to the Kaweco Sport. This is the All Sport. It's a completely different pen, but there are definitely some design cues that are similar. And it's also 1/3 or less the price of a Kaweco Sport. So it's something that people might want to look into if you're looking for a pocket pen. Of course, I found it in pink with gold clip here, so it definitely fits the theme here. All right, let's just go ahead and open this up. By the way, I want to mention that this packaging job, this presentation, is better than my last Mont Blanc, which came in a cardboard box. And yes, it was legit. So again, Hongdian M2. This could be had at a lot of different places. It has a clip which can be activated from this end here if you need it. It's springy. It's definitely very functional, and it is permanently affixed to the top here. You can't remove it as you can on a Kaweco. It has a little tiny number 4 nib. I think that's number 4, but it is a very smooth writer, and it is a cartridge converter pen. And they all come with the converter, so we'll just go ahead and use that. I think for this one, I think what we'll do is use the Jacques Herbin and give this a shot. All right. Now I'm not going to do a full filling of these because I'm going to be giving them away. And I don't want to spend a lot of time cleaning them out. Of course, cleaning out a converter isn't as much of an issue as cleaning out the barrel of a piston filler or something like that. If anyone is interested in how I clean pens with my ultrasonic cleaner and so forth, then please put a comment down below and I will consider that for a future video. I know some of us haven't had a chance to do that, and I'm actually not sure how many videos there are on that subject. Okay, so Aero Full Paper, this particular one is 75 GSM and bright white. Again, the ink is Jacques Herbin, Bouquet de Temps. And actually, before I do that, let me title this. I think we'll use this guy because he didn't get to be used in January. Okay, so we're using J. Herbin. Bouquet. De Temps. And we've got the Hongdian. M2 with a medium nib. I'm gonna and that will show the sheen if there is any. And then next I like to apply a little bit of water somewhere so I can see any sort of shading. And this appears to be a very waterproof ink. That's pretty amazing. I wasn't expecting that. Very interesting. I totally wasn't expecting that at all. All right, so that's the Hongdian M2 with Bouquet de Temps. This is going to be also very interesting and pretty pen. It's the Asvine P20. This one I thought was just really up the Valentine's Day alley, so I decided to get this one for this particular event. This one has a fine nib. So what color of ink should we use with this one? With it being a fine nib, I think we're going to pass on the shimmer, and we will go with the Hana Ikara, the cherry blossom from Sailor Iroshizuku. And this is a piston filler. I have a number of these. I think that they're just a really good bargain. They're inexpensive, and also come in all these really neat little colorways. So if you're looking for an inexpensive pen, this might be a good pen for you to look at, especially if you're new to piston fillers. Real quick on piston fillers, you can kind of see the piston in there maybe. I'm not sure if you can pick it up on camera, but if you turn counterclockwise, it forces the piston down, forcing the air out of the body of the pen. And then with it dipped in the ink, you twist clockwise and it pulls the ink in through the nib and into the body of the pen. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay. And now you can see here in the ink window, the ink that's in the body of the pen. Wipe off the grip section here. Don't really need to worry about the nib. Nib is going to get ink on it no matter what you do. So you can see the bubble there in the ink window. All right. Let's get it going here. As I said, this is my first time with this ink, so it's definitely brighter than the Jacques Herbin. It's more of a red, but it also looks like it has some shading going on. That's really gorgeous. Iroshizuku means color drops in Japanese. Hana Ikada, cherry blossom. Still need to add a little water, see what we get. Also, a very waterproof ink. I guess this makes sense given that it's a dye ink, but still, I would have expected a little bit of shading going on there. Okay, so that's the Hana Ikada in the Asvine P20. Moving on. Now, so far, these two inks are just simply a dye ink, plain dye ink, no shimmer, no shade, no sheen. Let's look at the star of the show, which is the Benu, or Benu. This is my first pen from this brand, and I've always been curious, but it doesn't really fit my jam. It's not my style of a pen, and so I've never purchased one, but I know there is a rabid following for these pens. This manufacturer puts something in the water to make people love it so much. So I felt it was necessary for me to find out what all the fuss is about and get one. So this is the Euphoria, and this particular colorway is called Pink Guava. I thought it had just enough pink in here to make it interesting, but really look at that sparkle in there. my eyes don't know what I'm looking at. I think this is probably one of the things that really attracts people to it. Something about Benu really screams celebration, and I don't know, maybe it's is that a Studio 54 font? I can't tell. But to me, when I see Benu pens, I always think of New Year's or Valentine's Day. So I'd been thinking about doing a Benu pen for a Valentine's Day video since, I don't know, maybe November of last year, when I was thinking about the holidays and moving into next year, this year, what I might cover. And Benu, I was thinking about just highlighting on Benu. I purchased this one not from them. That this was not given to me. I paid full price for this one, and so I can't remember what the exact MSRP on it is, but it's about $100 and I believe $50, somewhere in that range. And as I said, I'm going to be giving this away with this video. So let's take a look at it. Since I haven't seen one before, I want to take a look. So it's got a clip, and it is got a pivot joint there, you can see, so you can move it from that end there. It feels really springy and very secure. I like the way they've got a little bit of a detent on the inside of the cap that allows the little nib there to sink in and create a lower profile. It'll also hold onto fabric better that way, so that's kind of clever. No two pens are the same. It does post. I feel like it's a little bit long there and kind of a bit back weighted. Some pens, when you post them, you feel the weight pushing down towards the paper, which I like. This one feels a little more back weighted, but I don't think it's necessary to use it posted, and I don't think I would, because I wouldn't want to ruin the finish on this. I really like that the grip section is so long. That's pretty nice. And it's on the thin side for my arthritic knuckles, but it really is quite comfortable. I like the flare out there at the end. Okay, so let's look at the threading here. All right. So we're talking about 1 full turn, 2 full turns, and about 3/4. So 2 3/4 turns. Not unacceptable for a desk pen. Yeah, I really like the way it feels. I want to just point out this is a cartridge converter pen. And it comes with a cartridge, the standard international cartridge. In fact, it's a Schmidt cartridge. So they went all out on that. So it has a steel Schmidt brand nib, which is pretty nice. This one you can tell is a fine. Let's take a look at the resin real quick so you can see it close up. It really picks up the light well. At the top of the cap is just more of the color here. And this side's just polished. Okay, so let's ink this up, and because it's a fine nib, I think we're going to go with Momichi. Now, I'm not going to fill this completely up because, again, I don't want to spend a lot of time cleaning. This is going to look good. I think this is really going to match the pink on the barrel. I think it's going to be a really close match. I also think this is probably going to be one of our darker inks for this month. This is the video. I get all the ink on my hands. That looks great. Just a quick note about the way this is writing. It's wonderful. I know a lot of people have problems with Bach nibs, but I don't. I think they write really well, at least the ones that I've received. Let's see, and this is the Benu Euforia. Guava pink. And so, yeah, that color really does match well. Wow. I think I'm going to still keep looking for a Benu pen that matches my kind of aesthetic. I really like traditional pens, things that are classic. Not so much for the flashy avant-garde thing. I'm more of a stealth mode kind of person. So I'm going to keep looking for a Benu pen that matches that, and look for one for myself as well. All right, so here we see a little bit more shading, so that's good. Kind of expected it to perform a little bit more like the Hana Ikeda, but each pen or each ink has its own characteristic. Okay, so there's the Momiji and the Benu Euphoria. Information about how to be entered and win these is coming up here just in a little bit. We have 2 more inks. Next up is Diamine Pink Glitz. This is a shimmer ink. Because it's a shimmer ink, that means there's particles that are floating around in here, little glitter particles, and that can clog a fountain pen. So what you want to do, what you want to use is a fountain pen with a broad or a stub nib. The wider the better. One that has a really good ink flow. I happen to have a pen that is really good for that, and that is this, the Gioia Metis pen. This is Song of Atlantis, limited edition of 50, and this is number 27 of 50. Yeah, 27 of 50. It's piston filler. It has really beautiful chatoyance. You can't really see it on camera, I imagine, but there are little flicks of pink mixed in with some like violet and purple in here. So it catches the light really well. And I think the glimmer here with the shimmer here is really going to be an interesting combination. So let's go ahead and ink this up. It's piston filler with an ink window. Kind of similar to this as far as the features are concerned, the P20 pen. The shape is quite a bit different, conical ends on both sides where this is more domed. But we'll give this a nice shake before we fill it. Again, this is a piston filler like the P20. So I'm going to counterclockwise for most pens, not all pens, to force the air out. And you want to fill these as quickly as you can. Whoa. Forced a little bit of ink out, so we're going to get an ink ring on this month. Okay, and so you can see the ink window there. It's all full. Clean off the section here, especially the threads, because that'll just gum up the cap. And you can see the shimmer in the fins of the feed. You can also see it already settling here in the ink window. Again, I'm not doing a complete fill of this pen because I don't want to clean this out. And it's a little harder to clean out a piston filler than it is to just simply replace or clean out a converter. So I have a little bit of preview of what's going on there on this page. It's overly full. Okay, so working quickly. If you don't work quickly, the shimmer will settle back down to the bottom of the bottle. Definitely a redder color. Okay, so we are using Diamine. And this is pink glitz. And the pen is a Gioia Metis. And the color is called Song of Atlantis. Add a touch of water. Also very waterproof. Okay, so let's take a look at the shimmer on this. You can't really see it face on like this, but if I bring it closer and you look at especially the ring that it left here, you can see the shine coming off of the glimmer in the ink, especially down here where we've written, and it picks that up really well. It's definitely a gold color, not a silver or red. So red ink and a gold glimmer on top of that. Really beautiful. So I'm going to move this out of the way, keeping these 3 giveaway pens here. And the last one we're going to look at is True Love. This again is a scented ink by Tono Lims. The pen I'm going to be using is this one here. This is the Monteverde MP1, and it's a piston filler. So I think MP means Monteverde piston. I don't know for sure, but it makes sense that it would. The piston filler is a little bit different than typical ones because it's a locking mechanism. You need to see the 2 dots here that are aligned there. You need to pull the blind cap up, and then that unlocks it, and then you can activate the piston on the inside by twisting clockwise and counterclockwise. Then when you filled up the pen, bring it back. Line up the dots and then push in, and then it's locked in place. Why you would need to go through that, I'm not sure, because this pen, as far as I know, is not postable. I mean, it's just sitting there. I don't think that this is intended to be posted. It's a bit long for that anyway, and it's definitely kind of a heavy cap to be posting. I think this cap is aluminum, and it has what appears to be a plastic liner, perhaps one of the Delrin type plastics. If you think this might look a little bit like a TWSBI, you would be right. There are a lot of things that are very similar to it. The clear body, the fact that there's a triangular grip section here that pretty much forces your hand to be in a particular position, your fingers to be in a particular position for writing. And it's also in about the same price range too. One thing I've noticed about this a little bit is that the threads are a little bit misaligned there. But anyway, this isn't a review of this pen. It's just letting you know what I'm using for this. If it turns out that I really love this pen, I will be doing a full review of it on a later date. Okay, so back to the ink, which is the important part here. We're doing Tono Lims, and this is True Love. Not doing a full fill on this one, just a partial. Wow, it is fun to watch the ink come into this one though. It sprouts up like a fountain. Okay, clean off the grip. When I first purchased this ink and took a kind of a whiff on it, and it didn't really come out of the bottle that well. But now that I've filled it, I can definitely smell it coming off of the nib, and it's quite pleasant. It's kind of a citrusy floral scent to it. Hard to describe scents, isn't it? But it's really pleasurable. It'd be something that you would want as sort of something to wake you up or make you more alert rather than something that you would want to calm you down. All right, so let's do, I keep putting the caps on before I do the test. All right. Wow, now I can really smell it. You'll notice the Monteverde logo here on the top. Oh, I really do love the smell of this. Squeaky nib. Definitely feels like a true fine. With the O-ring in there, I don't expect this to dry out too easily. Okay, so there's Tono Lims, True Love with Monteverde MP1. All right, so that concludes this portion of the video. Again, we're going to be giving away the Hongdian M2. We're going to be giving away the Benu, Euphoria, and we're going to be giving away the Asvine P20. If you'd like to be entered to win one of these three lovely pens, put down in the comment section the keyword Valentine. That is Valentine. I have a little app that will go through the comments and look for this keyword, and it will select 3 different winners, 1 for each pen. I will probably do that in the first come, first serve sort of order. Have your option of which one if you're the first person. If you're the last person, you'll get whatever's left over, but I think all 3 of these are really great choices. Of course, the Benu is worth the most money, where the other 2 are both around $20 to $25. That's about it for me. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your tolerance and grace in letting me have an extra couple of days to do this video. I've had a lot going on in my personal life and just haven't had a chance to get to the videos. I promise to do a whole lot more this month, so stay tuned for that. There's going to be a lot of giveaways this month. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Thanks for watching and keep writing.